Hey everyone, it's Kaycienikole, and today I'm going to take you through a practice that I absolutely love going through in my own meditations. It's a chakra balancing meditation. And if you're not sure what a chakra is, no worries. It's just an energy center within the body, all the way from your pelvis up towards the crown of your head. And we're going to balance each center, and each center is going to signify a certain aspect of our lives or of ourselves. So we're going to tap into these centers and notice if they're feeling fully operational. Sometimes they feel stagnant. Sometimes they feel overly active. And we're going to try to bring a nice balance into all of these centers to get that energy moving and flowing, more balanced. So we will need a seated position that's going to allow the spine to stay tall, aligned, and stacked. If you want blocks to sit on, you can do that. If you need a wall or some kind of support, do that. But make sure we can stay nice and aligned. Whenever you're ready, close your eyes. Feel the lifting of your spine, the melting of your shoulders, and just feel that reach in opposite directions from your sit bones. Even if they're not fully on the ground, feel them press down into whatever they're touching. And then equally lifting all the way up through your crown. So you feel spacious, but you also feel grounded. You feel rooted into the earth, and yet fully reaching up and away. The spine is fully stacked, aligned. And just feel your breath moving up and down the length of the spine. Just starting to feel a little more connected into your bodies. And since we close the eyes, we're no longer seeing what's around us. So now we're going to use our mind's eye to start seeing what's happening inside. So direct your attention down into your pelvic floor. All the pelvic floor muscles. Feel them first just soften and relax as though they could find more space and expansion. Feel the connecting point of your sit bones. Feel the surface area of your hips where you're seated. And as you feel this whole bottom, this whole center, you can feel the front, the back, the sides. And at that center, think about it as the base of the spine all the way down into the roots. Now, this area of our chakras, Muladhara chakra, is going to represent more of our sense of security, stability, our foundation. And it's easy to think about it as being our foundation because it is. We are seated right now on it, which means it is our deepest foundation where we can take those roots and dig them deeply in. So you can think about this in our lives as being more of the foundation in your life. Do we feel grounded in our lives? Do we feel a sense of lack of security, lack of safety, lack of that foundation, lack of feeling grounded? Or sometimes we feel like we haven't moved in a long time. We've been stagnant, we've been stuck. And if we do feel stagnant and stuck, it can often feel like this space isn't moving much at all. And if we feel like we're bouncing from one thing to the next, maybe we lack that feeling of stability. It might feel overly active in this area. Remember, we're looking for a nice harmonious balance in these centers. So as you begin to notice how it feels, all the energy that's moving in the pelvic floor region, we're just going to activate a little bit of the muscles just so we can feel a little more connected into this space. So feel your pelvic floor trying to lift up. So you can contract the muscles. Think about the muscles of the genitalia, or almost imagine like you're trying to stop a stream of urine. You're lifting that space up and engaging those muscles like a Kegel. And as you engage, you're going to feel that lifting upward motion. And then just relax the muscles. Let them expand out. Let's do that again. Begin to slightly contract. Just feel. And then relax. So in this space, depending on where you are and how you feel or what's relevant to you in your life, I want you to just visualize that you're bringing more balance into this area. If you're overstimulated, think about how we can ground in this space. So I am grounded, I am supported, I am stable. But if you feel stagnant in this area, like it hasn't received much motion or movement in a long time, I want you to think about, I am able to create freedom. I am not bound. I have free will, choice, and I can realign or replant myself anywhere I choose. You are finding the opposite of the thing that keeps you out of balance in this area. So as you start to bring more of that balanced energy in, knowing that you can keep these concepts with you outside of this practice into your day-to-day life, to try to also seek balance in your choices and what you do day in, day out. How can we be more balanced in this center? Because this center is one of the most important. As we set these roots, everything else is built off of this foundation. So we want the foundation to feel solid and supported. Start to draw your awareness now up into your sacral area. So think about an inch or so below your belly button. You're feeling the front, the back, the sides, all the way in towards the center. And you can think about this area as well as your pelvic floor area as being connected to our sexuality. But specifically in our sacral area, this is a center for creativity, for that creative expression. And on top of that, you can also think about this as holding on to relationships, emotions. We can feel a lot of our emotions being created in this space, especially tying into past, present relationships. So feel into this space and notice if it feels, once again, overly active, or maybe it feels understimulated, stagnant, still, unmoving. How long has it been since you have tapped into your creative energies? Sometimes we feel blocked in our lower centers due to reasons relating with sex, sexual behaviors, energies. Sometimes we feel lack of creative expression. Sometimes we feel negative emotions holding us back, which can often be tied to relationships that we feel stuck in, that we feel negative relationships to. Sometimes we feel overly active in these areas. We feel hypersexual. We feel too much creativity and not enough thinking or following through. Sometimes we have a lack of discernment in our relationships. Sometimes we allow our emotions to take charge and lead everything. Sometimes we seek relationships to validate our own feelings or expression. So just become more aware of what's happening down in this second chakra, Svadhisthana. And whatever energies you're feeling here, we're just trying to find more balance. So feel the energy moving through this space. And now we're going to combine it with the first chakra. And just imagine all the way down from your pelvic floor, this lifting of energy up to your sacral area and back down on the exhales. As though there is a straw or a tube all the way from the pelvic floor up to the crown of the head. And we're going to just be going up and down this little tube to tap into each energy center. And remember, it's not just a practice here in our meditations, but it's also a practice that we can take with us into our day-to-day life. It is a mirror as to what's happening in our outer worlds. Just getting to know yourselves more deeply. Now let's start to draw your awareness up into your solar plexus. Think about this as your core center, or about an inch above your belly button, right below your ribs, that core space. Now this space here, Manipura, is going to be associated with our power, our strength, our endurance, perseverance, our confidence, our ability to step into intense or difficult things. Now, depending on how you feel day in, day out, sometimes it feels pretty good here. If you find yourself being a little more lethargic, maybe in fear of taking big steps forward, maybe you feel a little stagnant with your momentum and moving forward, going towards your goals or whatever it is that holds you back. You might feel a block in this center. But equally, if you are overly active, you're pushing your body nonstop, you don't know how to rest or slow down, it's always go, go, go energy, you can feel overstimulated in this area. Maybe it associates with a lack of confidence or sometimes too much ego. So just recognize, is there a lot of energy moving here? Is there a lack of energy moving here? Or do you feel perfectly balanced? Imagine that it's either speeding up a little bit or slowing down until you feel that harmonious balance. And then start to connect it with your lower centers and feeling them all working and moving together, up and down that channel, that tube, that straw. It's lifting up the spine all the way to that core center and then right back down. Now you can think about your lower 3 chakras as being more associated with survival. So as we come into this survival state, we have this sense of security, our relationships, our emotions, our sense of confidence, our ego. These areas can be really thrown off very easily when our survival feels threatened or when we are living way beyond our means. So think about this as, once again, connection to survival, to more of your personal self. They can be more selfish feelings, selfish centers, but they also, depending on the energy behind them, can be completely selfless. If we ignore ourselves, we neglect ourselves and our own personal needs, we recognize that we need to find balance. We can't just give everything and give nothing to ourselves. Nor can we take everything and not give anything back. Try to find balance in these survival centers. There are 7 chakras altogether. So we're going to come into the center chakra. Start to draw your awareness to your heart center. And as you draw awareness into your heart, you're lifting up through the spine and just feeling the heart expansive and open. This is where we start to tap into more of that selflessness outside of ourselves, connecting to higher energy, higher vibration, the connection to all things, union. So the heart is going to represent love, kindness, compassion, forgiveness, gratitude. Sometimes the heart feels really light and buoyant, and sometimes the heart feels heavy, feels constricted, barricaded, closed off. How does the heart feel at this moment? Remember that we want energy to be able to flow freely to it. We want to feel balanced in this center. So if you feel guarded, closed off to the world, If you block your heart and hold it in close so that no one can see it, we don't practice forgiveness, we don't let go, we don't allow ourselves to have compassion or love, then we can feel really tight in this area. We can feel very dense or stuck. But equally, sometimes we lack discernment. We lack boundaries. Sometimes we need to nurture self. And that can also be dependent on the lower chakras and how they're feeling as well. So just feel more compassion for yourself, more compassion for the world around you, more gratitude for exactly where you are right now. And through this heart opening and expanding, let it wash all the way down the lower centers and then back up to the heart. Anahata, our heart chakra. And just feel all the energy flowing freely from the base of your roots all the way up to your heart center. Checking in with each center along the way and feeling that harmonious balance of movement. Now start to draw your awareness up into your throat, Vishuddha. Our throat chakra represents communication. So through this chakra, depending once again on how we express ourselves, we can notice if there is a block or overusage in this area. If there is a block, perhaps we hold ourselves back from speaking our truth, lacking that authenticity or genuinity due to fear of what others may think. Maybe we overly communicate, we talk too much, and we fail to listen. When we lack the ability to listen, we can feel overly stimulated in this area, as though everything just spews out of us without anything to receive. But if we're holding ourselves back, we can feel blocked, as though nothing can move through this space. So allow yourself to take a swallow. And then feel this space open, knowing that your truth is worthy of being heard. But equally, the world is worthy of being listened to. So allow yourself to be receptive and open, and yet personally expressive, genuine and authentic. Feeling it connecting down into the heart, down into your solar plexus, your sacrum, all the way down into your pelvic floor, your roots. And each inhale, feel it draw back up the spine, all the way up into your throat, and then flowing all the way back down. Trying to feel harmonious balance. Now draw your awareness to your third eye. Think your forehead center. But rather than bringing your awareness to the front of your forehead, take that space and draw it all the way to the back of your skull. And think about opening up this third eye. And you can think about this center as your ability to see clearly, not visually, but feeling that sense of intuition, inner knowing. Your creativity also can be associated in this space as it taps into our imagination. Our ability to receive, connect. Sometimes when we feel blocked in this space, we don't trust ourselves or our intuition. We feel closed off or overly analytical. We think through everything versus feeling and receiving. And on the flip side, sometimes we lack the ability to think things through, to be critical, and to have discernment. Feel your third eye opening, as though you could start to see more clearly, to receive, to open, and not over-analyzing, but just taking in the information and knowing what serves you and what does not. That discernment allows you to release anything that does not feel resonant to you. Allowing yourself to be imaginative, to allow your imagination to play, to be creative, to express itself. When is the last time you allowed yourself to get lost in your imagination, to daydream? And where do those daydreams come from? Sometimes we just think about it as, I was just being imaginative. But where do those thoughts arise? Our intuition, our ability to receive outside of ourselves. So feel this third eye opening and the energy flowing freely. Each inhale from your pelvic floor lifting all the way up to your third eye center, ajna, and all the way back down, traveling up and down the length of your spine. And lastly, we'll bring our awareness all the way up to the crown of the head and think about the space right above your crown, as though it's an inch right off the top of your head. And not only is it an extension of the spine, but think about it like an aura surrounding your entire body, like an energy field. You can think about this center as being connected to something bigger than you, something greater. The ultimate creation. Maybe that's God, universe, energy, frequency, whatever that is for you, feel connected to a higher power, something bigger. Sometimes we feel very closed to this concept. Perhaps maybe some of the words I just spoke, you may have felt yourself close up. And if so, allow yourself to just open up. It doesn't have to be a specific word. It doesn't have to relate to a specific concept. Just feel something greater than you. Universal energy. You are a part of something bigger. And allow yourself to just be open to receive it. Surrounding your body and connecting you to all things, all people, all places, all time. And feeling that light of the crown of your head pouring in and washing over all the other chakras. Everything begins to move in more harmony, more balance, more ease. And just take a moment to feel this balancing, this calibration. A nice flow of energy from the bottom up and from the top back down. Take your hands together at heart center, this center chakra, knowing that we've gone through them all. We reach the very top. Sahasrara. We have reached that space of full balance, full connection. Tapping into these centers helps us to get to know ourselves more energetically. So thank yourselves for taking the time to connect. And thank you for allowing me to be your guide. Open up your eyes when you're ready. This is one of my favorite practices for really, truly getting to know where I'm blocked, where I'm overstimulated, and where I can create balance in my day-to-day. I take these ideas, these concepts with me into my day-to-day life to start implementing so I can bring more balance externally to feel it internally. I would love to know your feedback as well, and looking forward to practicing with y'all again soon. Thanks so much.